Hello, I'm Danny Sullivan, and I'm here to take you on a tour through the Harlem Renaissance, where an explosion of African American culture culminated in Harlem. We will meet famous figures from the age such as Langston Hughes, Marcus Garvey, and Duke Ellington. I think Duke Ellington is right over here. Follow me. Duke Ellington was one of the founding fathers of jazz. He often played at the Cotton Club. I think he's there right now.
Hello, Danny.
Hello, Duke.
What are you here for?
I'm here to ask you a couple of questions.
Ask away.
So, Duke, what's jazz all about?
Jazz is a conversation between people through music. As for the rhythm, it was derived from African folk music. We had some spice and modernized it, and it came out to what it is today.
Sounds great. So, Duke, why do they call you the Duke?
I love to dress lavishly to any event I go to, as if I'm playing at Cotton Club or Carnegie Hall.
Wonderful. And what are the names of some of your songs?
I compose suites with all my songs in them. For example, I created the Shakespearean suite and the New Orleans suite. My music celebrates sophistication, while today's music celebrates immaturity.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Oh, anytime.
You're supposed to get it.
I'll see you later.
See you. Just who I was looking for, Langston Hughes.
Oh, hello there.
How do you do, Mr. Hughes?
Good. How can I help you?
Well, you can start by telling us about your poems.
My poem is mostly focused on the American dream, show the perspective of African Americans, poor farmers, and immigrants.
That's great. Now, who inspired you to start writing?
Writers like Walt Whitman, Carl Sandburg depicted a very down-to-earth style.
Wonderful. Now, could you read us one of your poems?
Sure, this one's called Harlem. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore, then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or does it crust over like a sugary, syrupy sweet? Maybe it sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Something to think about.
That's outstanding. Thank you for your time, Mr. Hughes.
No problem.
Oh, look. It's the self-proclaimed President of Africa, Mr. Marcus Garvey.
Hello, everybody.
So, how do you do, Mr. President?
Good. What brings me here today?
Well, I have a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, what were you trying to accomplish politically?
My goals were to free my African American brothers and sisters from economic and social oppression.
And how are you planning on doing that?
So, I wanted to transport them all back to Africa, to their homelands, where they'd be free of this oppression.
And how are you going to do that?
So, firstly, I created the World Negro newspaper, which spread my message and cause to many African Americans across this country. I also created the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association, that improved the lives of millions of African Americans around the country. And to transport them back to Africa themselves, I created the Black Star Line, which is a shipping line of boats that would transport millions upon millions back to Africa, so we could create a country free of oppression.
That's wonderful, Mr. Garvey. Thank you for your time.
Anytime.
Probably thinking, why should I care about the Harlem Renaissance?
Well, the Harlem Renaissance created a cultural boom and creativity that centered in Harlem, that transformed the image of your typical African American person from a lowly farmer to a sophisticated artist. It also transformed the view of other people to African Americans. People treated them with much more respect. From the rich and the white people all over the country treated their music and art like it was their own. That's why you should care about the Harlem Renaissance.